If you do not care about other people, if you want to demonize and attack and mock and make fun of other people and think people just because they're different from you, or they may not be high, profile as you, or a billionaire or rich, if you only look up to those people and you want to step on people who are less than you, don't subscribe to my channel. This ain't gonna be the channel for you. That's the reason why I created this channel. And I there's a lot of people in my comments, just it was a lot more back then, but now it's one or two people. And when I had these conversations with these people in my chat, especially with the incident with the barista, at Starbucks. The one who was crying on, TikTok, and, he had to work 8 hours and it was just so much work for him. And I took defense of that because I know how that feels. I mean, I know been in his situation, but I know how it feels to work a dead end job where it feels like it's just sucking so much out of you. I can relate to that. I can relate to companies using you up and giving you very little for your time. I'm pretty sure everybody can relate to that. So what that causes me to do is want to speak up for those people. Because as you see, I'm a very vocal person. I will argue with anybody. I will fight anybody. So I feel like if no one's going to stand up for these people, I will. If no one's going to fight for these people, I will. And best believe I'm going to do it good. You're going to have to be that somebody to take me down. Guarantee it, hands down, like 630. I do not care about making friends. I do not care about subscribers. The people I want subscribing to me are people who are along the same mission as I am. If you do not care about other people, if you want to demonize and attack and mock and make fun of other people and think people just because they're different from you, or they may not be high, profile as you, or a billionaire or rich, if you only look up to those people and you want to step on people who are less than you, don't subscribe to my channel. This ain't gonna be the channel for you. I'm sorry, I can't help you when it comes to that. Because guess what? I am going to come at you in the comment section or wherever, because I cannot sit back and allow bullies to continue to demonize and attack people who don't have a voice, who can't speak up for themselves, who can't stand up for themselves. Guess what? That's why I'm here. And it's going to take a lot to get me out of here. Now let's go ahead and listen to one more video. This is Mr. Cornell West saying it best. And this always almost brings me to tears, because he says it so eloquently and just with such beauty and such finesse. It speaks to the heart and the mind and the soul. Let's go ahead and listen to it together.
Most of human history is the history of domination. Most of human history is the history of oppression, the history of hatred, contempt, envy, resentment. How do you break that cycle? How do you create moments of interruption that can be sustained? If you're really going to have to come to terms with the history of black people in the States, you're talking about slavery, Jim Crow, police brutality, self-hatred, self-violation, self-flagellation. You're really dealing with psychic, spiritual, social, political catastrophes. Democracy is the hearing and heeding of the voices of the victims of hierarchies that have been in place, that have dominated and exploited people. And so what's fascinating about the United States, it's always been paradoxical. The American Revolution was both an interruption of the rule of empires. It was anti-imperial in a magnificent way, But it continued with forms of domination. That's why it was an imperial democracy. It continued with forms of domination vis-a-vis indigenous peoples, African slaves, white working men and women, women across the board, of course. So what is at stake is an imperial meltdown, the spiritual blackout. And what is a spiritual blackout? It is the relative eclipse of empathy, courage, integrity, honesty, decency. So that to be a gangster becomes the dominant way of life. I'm going to do anything to get over. I'm going to do anything to be successful. I'm going to do anything to get money. It's money, power, fame becomes the fundamental pillars upon which too many young folk are socialized, because that's what they see in the imperial meltdown that we're experiencing. It's just a matter of trying to be honest, trying to be truthful, trying to be frank. That's what it's all about.
Damn. Beautiful.
How do you sustain a democratic hope in bleak times? Probably the most sublime feature, morally sublime feature of the species is that no matter how pervasive the domination is, it tends not to completely suffocate love, tenderness, struggles for justice, fighting for the poor, fighting for the vulnerable. The sparks of love of truth, the sparks of the love of justice, the sparks of the love of beauty, the sparks of the love of something bigger than oneself. There's something about the attempt to intervene and turn us around into our best. The shaking of we sleepwalkers into modes of awakening. So we become not just aware of others' suffering, but we identify with that suffering enough to want to do something about it. The history of the species at its best has to do with those who are willing to risk much, sometimes risking it all, to exemplify the grandest ideals. You have to try to ascend up the stairs to be a higher self, given the self that you are at the moment, and try to rely on that higher self and not that established self in place.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Bro. I don't know what if that didn't move you, if you got nothing out of that, you are a bot by definition. You have no sort of emotional connection to the world around you. You have no empathy or sympathy to give to nobody, even yourself. That if, bro, I don't know what you guys is calling is. Honestly, that's your thug dizzle. You need to go handle that out with you and God and the people you love. But I know mines. You know what I'm saying? I know mines. And YouTube, I know that's a silly thing, but that's just my start. You know what I'm saying? Trust me, YouTube is not going to be the end of what I want to offer people who need. You know what I'm saying? If God allows me to continue to do what I'm doing and continues to bless me, I will not rest until I make change. I mean, you thought Martin Luther King was amazing. I mean, you thought Malcolm X was a beautiful person. You thought James Baldwin was amazing. Huey P. Newton. They're amazing. Oh man. But you ain't seen nothing yet. Oh, you ain't seen nothing. If God continues to allow me to move and to excel, I am going to make change. And I guarantee it. Hands down, like 6:30.